we thought, why not make a big splash right here, coming back to it. The Super Bowl is 4 days away. Should be a great one. And that's going to be the main topic of this first segment we're ever gonna do on the rebranded Dierks and Denver podcast. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I'm over here repping the Chiefs. The Chiefs, that's my team. Not really, but I live in Missouri, so makes it my
Yeah,
team.
that's a great point. Before he spews any of his BS, keep in mind and take everything that he says with a grain of salt because he lives 90 minutes, 2 hours north of Kansas City and has been kind of abducted by that fan base. So
It's
he's
very
gonna be
addictive.
he's gonna be a bit of a homer. I'm gonna ask him to do his best to keep everything relatively objective, but I know that probably won't happen. That's just what happens sometimes. But anyway, let's just get right into it. The Kansas City Chiefs, we've covered that already pretty intensively, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers meeting Super Bowl 55 this Sunday. What is that? February the 7th in 2021. The Chiefs, champions of the AFC, went 14-2. We can pretty much say that's 14-1 though, right? Like they didn't care about
Yeah,
that
last
last regular
game
season
bench players.
regular season game. Yeah, we got our boy Chad Henne, and he got absolutely dunked on. Came through in the clutch when it mattered though. Anyway, moving on. And the Tampa Bay Bucks, who came out of the NFC at 11-5 in the regular season, they were the 5th seed, I believe, coming into the NFC playoffs. And ran the table,
Yes.
beat the unnamed Washington football team. I almost messed up and said what they used to be called. You should be proud of me. I didn't. We're getting there. It's only taken me, like a year?
Yeah.
And then round 2, they went to New Orleans and beat the Saints. And then they caused the final upset right there on Lambeau Field in front of, some, not all, but some Green Bay Packer fans. And people are a little mad about that. Maybe we'll get into that a little later. But that's how the Bucks got there. Chiefs, by first round, beat the Browns in round 2 due to the ballsiest play call I've ever seen in a game in my entire life. And then pretty much had their way with the Bills after the first quarter. And now we're here. So, Denver, I'm just going to let you take it away. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Just give me your 10,000-foot view.
Goat versus potential goat. That's what this is about. This isn't about the Bucks and the Chiefs. It's about Brady versus Mahomes. It's literally what was the present in the past, really over the last 20 years, meeting up with what could be the next 20 years. And that's excitement right there. That's what you look for. You look for who's going to come out swinging first, who's going to run the craziest plays, what defense is going to come out and play stellar, because we know defense does ultimately win championships. You can play the best offensive game of your life, but when it comes down to it, defense climbs up. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that Brady Mahomes. Nothing else. I don't care. It's rude for me to say, but I don't care about anything else. I don't. It's what is the most exciting part about this game, and it is Tom Brady, 6 rings versus Patrick Mahomes. The young gunslinger has a championship already, going for 2 back-to-back. Who's the last quarterback to do that? Thomas Brady. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm going to call up CBS. Maybe you can hop in for Jim Nantz or Tony Romo with that analysis right there. Love that. I couldn't really have said it any better. I don't remember which, kind of bigwig sports personality said it, but basically this is a game that really isn't all that important for Brady's legacy, but it's going to be really important for Mahomes. Because not knowing what the future holds, this is just seeing what's right in front of us. This is really his opportunity to establish himself as really the heir apparent to that GOAT throne, right? And if Mahomes can't beat Brady here, if Mahomes kind of falls short and Brady walks away with ring number 7 in this game, and there is no rematch down the road, even though I do believe that is probably a distinct possibility the way it looks like both of these franchises are positioned, they're really, I mean, Brady might just kind of quash that argument right off the jump, no matter what Mahomes does from this point forward. If he loses this game to Brady and never gets a rematch, I mean, he really can't catch Brady at that point because Brady's beat him at the apex,
See, and that's the big. You stated it perfectly. This is Mahomes' legacy. It's crazy to think that when he's only in his third year, right? But his legacy is on the line Sunday, and if he can take that and just go, which I believe he can just go. We're gonna see probably the greatest quarterback to ever play. Isn't it crazy? In our lifetime, we're gonna probably see the 2 greatest quarterbacks to ever play.
Yeah, it obviously depends how you weight that word greatest, right? Obviously, right now, there's no disputing if you're talking the combination of results on the field and then, as that translates to championships and relative talent. Brady's far and away the GOAT. He's blown Joe Montana out of the water. He's blown anybody else that you could possibly stack in that argument out of the water. Now, if you're talking greatest as talent-wise, that's a whole other argument. It's hard to argue that arm talent-wise, Mahomes has got to be probably the most talented quarterback that I've ever seen play. And if he can stack, 4, 5, 6 Super Bowls like Brady has on top of that talent that he has, it's going to be really hard to, keep him from attaining that greatest of all time title. Unless, as we've already went over, Brady could kind of make himself truly immortal here on Sunday.
If Brady does win, I will go to hell and back for the rest of my life telling people that Tom Brady is the greatest player to ever play. I don't care. You got 7 rings. People said you're a system quarterback. Well, first season in Tampa takes him to the fucking Super Bowl and wins. Come on. I'm really a Bears fan. Tom Brady could have played for us and taken us to the Super Bowl. That's what I think.
Nah, but you got money, Mitch. You're fine. You're positioned well for the future.
Yes, we'll talk about that later.
Of course. And when you really get into it, I will pull up on the YouTube version of this podcast if you are watching as well as listening. Here is the ESPN page for the game. You can see here Kansas City's favored by 3 points. I think that's come down a little bit. I think they opened as either 4 or 3.5 point favorites. So some money coming in on the Bucks to push that a little bit. That's probably right where it should be. I'm not gonna pretend I'm an expert, but you really can't have a game of this magnitude and put a 4.5 or higher line on it, especially with the dude who has made his case as perhaps the greatest team sport athlete ever on kind of defying the odds and finding ways to win in the clutch in these big games. And you see here, matchup predictor, pretty even. I tend to think that it really comes down to how the Chiefs start. I think this is the Chiefs' game to lose. If they start fast, can get an early lead and maintain that momentum, which is what they didn't do when these two teams met 10 weeks ago or whatever it was during the regular season, right? KC got the big lead early, and then they kind of let their foot off the gas, and that was what made the game interesting down the stretch. Now, if KC can do what they did before and jump out early, I don't believe in a game like this you're going to see Andy Reid and the boys take their foot off the gas. They're gonna keep it down, and you assume score some more points. Now I think we're over under 56. I would, again, don't blame me if you lose money because you take my betting advice. I'm absolutely mediocre at best at it. But I think the over under right here for 56, I think that's a little low. So I'd take the over 100%. I think both teams probably could get up in the 30s. I like a little bit of a shootout in this game, and I'm excited for it.
I don't think so, Tim. I truly believe that based off the last game Tampa Bay played against the Packers, you really saw the flaws. Tom Brady threw 3 picks. People are overlooking that because they won. If he lost, you know what everyone would say? He threw 3 interceptions. I don't see Tampa Bay coming out and scoring over 30. I don't. And honestly, I think this is a lower scoring game than 56. I think Tampa Bay goes and plays the defense the Saints played, where it's deep safeties, so Mahomes can't throw deep. And I think the Chiefs end up playing as like aggressive blitz style defense, getting to Brady, making him throw fast. Like,
I do agree on that front. That's what Steve Spagnuolo, the DC for the Chiefs, that's what he's kind of made his living on, and that's what he's had success with. He's beat Brady once before in a Super Bowl, and so I can see how that goes. I don't know. It's so up in the air. I have such a poor read on this game. I feel like most games I can kind of wrap my head around, and I think it just comes down to the fact that these two quarterbacks, even though they're so different, they impact the game in such a similar way that, it's going to come down to, as you opened with, it's just going to be a duel between those two. And basically, whichever one has the better game, that team probably is going to come out on top.
Thank you for agreeing with me. I've been waiting my whole life to hear that.
That hurt pretty deep, I'm not going to lie. But, what do we know, right? We're just a couple of bums. We're not experts.
A couple of average Joes.
Anything else you want to say on this game?
No, I've said what I can say. Anyone watching or listening in the future, my take is Chiefs win. That's it. Thanks for coming out to my Super Bowl TED Talk.
There you go. Yeah, I'll take Kansas City to cover. I kind of like the over, but I can definitely see a world in which, again, as Denver hinted on, this is going to just pain me so much because I'm admitting he's right on 2 different points. If Steve Spagnuolo's defense and that scheme kind of works out and Brady can't do anything other than just get the ball out really fast and for, 2-3 yards at a time, you're gonna give up your place here and there, but that's gonna be very telling. If the Chiefs defense, because obviously the Chiefs make their money on the offensive side of the ball, right? But if the Chiefs defense comes out to play, and conversely, if the Bucks defense comes out to play, it could be very, very, very interesting.